somebody tried to tell you that they'd met an alien species, you probably wouldn't believe them, not without some pretty conclusive evidence. You'd probably want to meet one of the aliens, or see their spaceship, or see some alien artifact with funky writing on it, maybe a laser gun or something. But this friend of yours tells you no, you can't see anything. But they could give you all the reasons why they had to have met aliens. They could give you statistics on how likely it is that aliens exist. They could explain how planets light years away have been around longer, that creatures there had had more time to develop and had to have invented better methods of space travel than humans. They could give you examples of people who claim to have been abducted by aliens. They could give you tons of convincing-sounding arguments, but not a scrap of evidence that any of them are actually true. Well, I don't know about you, but as much as I would want those stories to be true, I wouldn't be convinced. And neither should you. Without actual physical objective evidence, you shouldn't believe in the existence of anything. But there are plenty of theists who really don't agree. In fact, they've come up with a bunch of arguments for the existence of a deity that they seem to think are total slam dunks. They're not, of course, but these God-botherers have a veritable plethora of ways that they think they've proved God exists without ever having to actually produce a scrap of evidence. For example, there's TAG, the transcendental argument for the existence of God. In a nutshell, TAG basically says that we cannot account for objective morality, except if it is granted, or mandated, by a deity. It says that to be able to assign right or wrong values to any given behavior, we need a God to basically set up the rulebook beforehand. This is, of course, a steaming pantload. Even if a God came up with them, morals would not be objective because right and wrong are nothing more than opinion on what ought or ought not to be, and it is human pride and fear that assumes moral opinions go beyond the subjective. And TAG certainly isn't the only place where theists use these kinds of logical tactics. Goodness, no, not at all. There is also the teleological argument. An ordered universe requires an orderer. The cosmological argument. We needed a God to light the fuse on the Big Bang. The ontological argument. If you think it, he will come. And so on. I could list a double-wide buttload of these, but they all have one thing in common. Not a one of them provides any actual empirical physical evidence, and yet theists seem to think they're all gold medal finalists for proving the existence of a God. Here's a hint. They're not. We could logically prove the existence of pretty much anything, provided we never have to show evidence for them. You know, never actually prove a damn thing. Logic is an abstract, and all by itself it cannot prove anything at all about existence. To prove that something exists, you're going to have to provide empirical, objective, physical evidence. To believe an argument about existence without external proof of this kind is just pure gullibility, and probably a sign of running on automatic. Instead, please, think. Please take the time to rate this video. And hey, if you dig what I do, subscribe. You might also enjoy my webcomic, The Adventures of Kinneara Baxter. You'll find a link in the info bar. Now rate this video, citizen, or we put you on the probulator. Alien.